This is Dave Higginbotham interviewing Paul C. Stupp on 6/10/2010. So Paul, tell me, I guess what your story is. You've been on the land how long that you live at now?
I bought it in 1982.
So you're there 18 years before the gas moved in?
More or less, yeah. Yeah, they came around, the first time they approached me was around 1999.
Mm-hmm. You said that's when the landman
first showed up. Yeah.
I guess speak a little bit about how they approached you. Did they just come knock on the door and say, "Here's, sign this"?
You want me to tell you the story?
Please.
Okay. You're right. He showed up. He knocked on the door. He was an attorney. He was from Ohio. He came in. My land was not under lease. Many farms were under lease at that time. He came in and asked me about leasing my land. I said, not interested. He said, nothing would interest you. And I said, I'm here to make money. I said, if you want to lease my land, I said, my agreement would be, if you lease it, I want you to drill and sell gas in 5 years. That's about the time I'm going to retire, and I'd like to have an extra retirement check coming in. And I said, if not, this lease is dead. If you're not doing anything, the lease is dead. He says, I can't do anything like that. And I said, then we don't have anything to talk about. So he left that day. About a week later, he called and he said, I went back and talked to my employers, and they told me to come sign a lease with you for whatever you wanted. So the lease going price at that time per acre was about $1 an acre. So they still gave me like $1 or $2 an acre, I believe. I won't say just what it was, but they gave me about $2,000 up front, which was, nice little check. And so we had the agreement, we had the closeout figure on it, and I called some attorneys and asked and could get no help on how to sign a lease. Nobody knew anything. We were one of the first, I guess. I called an attorney who works for Farm Bureau, which is an organization that I belong to, farm organization. He said, give me a couple days. So I got back to him in a couple days, and he said, the only thing I've found in your lease you want to put on there, no storage. That it will not be used for storage.
And this is, you talked with somebody on your own, and I told you put that on your lease?
Yes, I talked to an attorney that worked for Farm Bureau. So he gave me the only guidance that I had from anybody professional for handling this lease. And that came back to us when this storage company came, and the fact that we had no storage in it, that's the only reason we had any ground to stand on as far as debating the prices we were to get out of it.
Did they get the gas pumping in the time frame you gave them?
Yes.
And checks coming?
Yes. It actually went on after they'd signed the papers, and I went on with my life, and I didn't even really hardly remember it. But on about the 4th year, they showed up, and they said, we'd like to drill a well. Well, they wanted to go right in my cornfield, which that year we were having a bad year, so I told them go ahead. So they went to the cornfield, and there's where they drilled, and that's where they hit gas. And they told me the well would last for like 15 years as a producing well, Well, and that went along 3 years.
What would that have been, like 2003 or so?
2003. That was when the well was completed, almost right on New Year's. It was there by Christmas. They started pumping soon after New Year's. They had the pipelines in and everything ready to go. And so then they paid me, I was really happy with what went on there for the next 2 or 3 years, until we got a letter from them that said, we have sold our holdings to a storage company and we're out of business, you're out of business, good luck with the next people you deal with, which turned out to be Steckman Ridge. And that's when the thieves came to town.
Who was the first company? Was PG&E?
PG&E. That was Pennsylvania General Energy.
And they weren't doing any fracking, right? Or were they?
Yeah, no, they had to frack the well when they started.
Okay, so they were already, when they first came there. Okay.
Yeah, they did some fracking when they started. And what they claimed when they left, they claimed the pressure had gone down, and they had set a pumping station there to build up enough pressure to get into Texas Eastern's pipeline. He had to have, I think, a minimum of 400 or 500 pound pressure to get it in.
Is that where this pumping station right over the road comes from?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're all hooked together.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's really new. That's since the 2003 or whatever when they were pumping out
They
units.
put it all in there. Yeah, they pumped from us 2003 probably to 2007 or 8 when we got that.
And what was the second company?
That was Spectra.
Spectre. And they put
That's
in
the storage
pump
company
station.
you're seeing the name, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess that would be about right. Started in
2006?
3, quit at 6, yeah.
Okay. Oh, and the lawsuit started in 2007 from the general public.
Yeah, we organized a group that
Okay.
stood against them. We had, well, they were in it. We actually hired a lawyer. My daughter is an attorney in Maryland. We tried to hire a lawyer in Pennsylvania. Everyone that we talked to was somehow connected with the gas companies.
Yeah.
And, well, we'll take your case, but we also work for the gas company. Well,
That's
what
called
do
a
you do
conflict
with the
of
lawyer
interest.
that's getting paid from both sides?
That's called a conflict of interest.
Yeah,
I don't think you're
so
supposed
we
to take
didn't, we had enough sense not to do that. So my daughter told me about a lawyer in Baltimore who handled a lot of their gas lines, and they have gas, he did a lot of right-of-way work down there and everything. She recommended him
He's
because
kind
she
of
knew him.
a citizen's advocate more so.
Yeah, and that was what he did in Baltimore for the city and for the people, I guess. So anyway, we hired him, and we didn't get a whole lot out of him, but we found out later that they bought him.
Really?
So he was working for them too.
He never got in any trouble for that, did he?
No, not that I know of. I'm wondering if we shouldn't have done something to get him in trouble. She has an email right here if you want to see it.